Hi, so we're here with Trade Classics doing a Meet the Owner video with Mr. Lee, the owner of this Maserati Gransport. If you could say hello, Mr. Lee.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Very good, thanks. So thanks for taking the time. So we're just going to ask Mr. Lee a few questions about his ownership of this car and a few other bits and bobs about him as a car guy. So, Mr. Lee, how long have you owned this Maserati for?
The car has been in my ownership for the past 2.5 years.
Okay, cool. And did you import it from Hong Kong yourself, or did you buy it as an import?
Okay, now I travel because of the type of work I do. I frequent Asia, and my interest for cars never seems to leave me.
Okay.
So I am always walking around the showrooms and trying to see what cars they are. And I chanced upon this car, which has just had, well, during that time, just come in for part exchange.
Okay.
So the minute I saw it, Hong Kong is a place where there's not much mileage to cover in that sense. So most of the cars will be low in mileage.
Yep.
And I happened to ask a few questions and found out a little bit about the history of the car, who the owner was, and that made me comfortable. And hence, I made an offer to buy the car,
Yep.
and it was not until 3 weeks later, which they informed me that my bid was successful.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. You know, with Hong Kong cars, yeah, obviously going around the island, it would take a lot of laps to rack up a big mileage, and this is a low mileage example, something like what is it, 39,000 kilometers, about 25,000 miles,
Well,
and
sorry, it's done about 39,000, maybe 700 kilometers.
yeah.
So, well, 26,000 miles. You're right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. And we sold a couple of cars that have been imported from Hong Kong before, and often you find with cars that have been imported, you don't often get much paperwork or provenance. But like you said, with this one, you found out a bit about the original owner, and it comes with all the original owner's invoices at the main dealer. That's right, isn't it?
That's correct. Now, the owner, obviously, uh, I didn't know of his background that during that time, but I had just been told one thing, and that was the owner from New had always serviced the car without fail at the main dealer. So that was something which made me very comfortable to know that the maintenance protocol of the main dealer had been followed all throughout its life.
Good stuff. Yeah, that's obviously a bigger peace of mind with a car like this. And then, so yeah, your offer was accepted. You bought the car and imported it over here to the UK. And how have you sort of used the car when you've had it here in the UK in London?
Truth to be told, I was attracted to the car by its looks. I thought I would use it maybe every weekend to just drive around. After all, it's an Italian sports car.
Yeah.
Um, so the minute the car arrived in the UK, I got around to getting it registered, and it wasn't a straightforward process because I didn't have any experience. I basically had to learn how to register the car myself. Now, during that registration process, I arranged for the car to be sent to Autoficina. And I wanted the car to also undergo I wouldn't call it a recommissioning, but I needed a service to be done. I needed some bits and pieces to be changed on the car, things like badges, etc.
Yeah.
So that's what I've done to the car when it arrived. And subsequently, well, as you can see, the mileage through the MOT, I've only ever driven it, I think, 200 to 300 miles a year maximum, and that's, I think, putting it at the higher estimate.
Sure. Okay. And
Yeah.
so, obviously, I'm assuming this isn't your only car. Then you've got a few other cars, or more A to B cars.
I am, I am, like I said earlier in the conversation, I am really interested in cars, and I buy too much for what I'm allowed to, you know.
Yeah, sure,
So,
sure. So
so
that,
I always end up in trouble.
yeah,
But I love cars, yes, and this is not the only car I drive. So I hardly drive it, but the car has been maintained nonetheless. It's had tire change, I think 200 miles ago,
yeah,
and so the tires are like 95% new.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so that brings us on to the next question, then I guess, yeah, which is what's the reason for sale then? Why are you looking to sell this car now?
Um, I live in I live in well in the center of town.
Yeah,
I I am not afforded to vast parking spaces, and I don't believe in parking this car on the roadside.
yeah,
Um, I feel that the minute I take up, I bring this car up and start parking it on the roadside, the car will start to deteriorate. And I like this car. I have. I mean, even though I want to sell the car on, I actually want to keep it in good condition, and I hope that the next owner will take good care of it. It's for a pure lack of parking space, which I want to move this car on.
sure. That makes sense. And I guess last question. With the mileage that you have done with the car, what do you think is the sort of the standout characteristic or the thing that you like the most about it that probably the new owner will enjoy as well?
Uh, this car has been fastidiously maintained, so I think the new owner, will probably find that this is a car which he or she can just buy and start driving. It's not going to require any work whatsoever. Now, a lot of people can say this, and they can claim that the work has been done, but I think that to actually find a car of this age, please bear in mind the car is not perfect. It has its age-related marks here and there,
Yeah,
but it's not a car which has been neglected in any way or form. So the car wasn't dry stored somewhere. It wasn't. The only thing is that it's not been driven now, so we just take it maybe once every 2 months and get the car started. Um, so yeah, the new owner will probably find that it's very much a car which he or she can just purchase and then begin to enjoy straight away.
cool. All right. Well, thanks very much for taking the time for this interview, Mr. Lee. Appreciate that. And guys, have a look at the other videos in the playlist, like the exterior review, along with the interior review. And Mr. Lee very kindly did a cold start video where he reconnected the battery to the car because it had been disconnected because it hadn't been used for a little bit, and showed what it sounds like from startup and when it's up to temperature, what the engine sounds like when he's revving it too. So yeah, take a look at the other videos. All right, thanks very much, Mr. Lee.
Thank you very much for your time. Have a nice rest of the evening, and please stay safe.